So the place you start a lighting design is exactly the same place as where you start your concept design. The next question you might have is, what does that mean? In the 30 years I've been doing lighting design, no one has really ever explained this well to me. And so this opportunity to talk to you guys was fantastic because it gave me the opportunity to sit down and think about what, in the most simple terms, about building a lighting design. I think you may have heard this before about layers of lighting, but to be very clear, I think we can break that down into only three. You've probably heard other layers, or people talk about different layers of light, but really, in my opinion, there is only three. And as interior designers, the most important one for you guys is decorative lighting. Why is that important? Usually, designers start with the decorative lighting last, but that's not the way to do it, because decorative lighting can also provide task lighting, accent lighting, and ambient lighting. So always start with placing your decorative lighting and thinking about what that decorative lighting is, and then start to build up the architectural lighting, the task lighting, the accent lighting, and the ambient lighting. Each of those layers has a descriptions, and I think you've heard some of these as well. Quantity of the light, which is the lux levels, and the uniformity of the light. The contrast is the difference between light levels for different parts or different areas of a room. The direction is the direction the light is coming from, down lights, up lights, for example. Color, which is both color temperature, like warm light, cool light, as well as colored light, red light, blue light. And then the last descriptor of light is change. So that's the light changing over time. So that's dimming is a simple example of that. But also there are programs that I'm sure you've seen where colors might change. So they're the descriptions of light, and the top two are blanked out for a reason. You know, if you go to people who have an engineering training or an engineering background, the first place they will start is quantity of light, because that's the thing that everyone can measure and it's easy to write down in a performance standard. Actually, it's not the place you start with a design. So you have to unlearn something here. Everyone in the world will be telling you what's the light level, asking you what's the light level. Why haven't you done a light level plot for your design? Well, the reason is that's not the place to start a design, right? The place to start the design is contrast. Let me move on and show you some examples as I talk about each of these. Contrast is important because contrast allows readability, legibility, understanding of a space. It tells you what is important in a space. It allows you to focus on things. So in the retail environment, that might be focusing on stock or display. In the hospitality environment, that's focusing on decorative elements, on the bar, because in a bar hospitality environment, that's why you're going there, and the table where you and your friends will gather. That is the place to start. Identify in your design the key elements of why people are there and what they are doing, and then light them in a way where the contrast is around about 3 to 1 as a minimum. Now, that means if you want people to see something and you're going to light it to say 100 lux, everything else needs to be 30 lux, a third. Or if someone tells you I need 100 lux through the whole space, then you need to light things to a minimum of 300. So you get to see the importance of contrast because our eyes adapt to different light levels automatically. So to tell our eye and tell our brain that something is important and is the accent, we need to light it approximately 3 times the amount of light as the background. That's rule number one. So next thing you think about after contrast is direction, or as we like to call it, luminosity. Luminosity is the things that glow. So a space becomes soft and beautiful, and the volume is fully described in a room or a space when we light surfaces. It's not about light on the desk. It's predominantly or mostly about light on the vertical surface. Why is that? It's because our eye sees vertical surfaces. All the other surfaces are foreshortened, particularly horizontal surfaces below your eye height, like floors. So big mistake, lighting a floor. Don't do that. Light the walls. So the direction of the light needs to be directed sideways to wash surfaces, vertical surfaces, or directed upwards to light ceiling surfaces. That allows your space to glow. It allows people to feel comfortable in the space, and it also highlights all those beautiful finishes. So next thing you think about after contrast is direction. Once you've thought about which way the light is going to go and which other things that you're going to light, is to think about the color temperatures. This is something I'm sure you know about, from warm light to cool light. Actually, during the day, sunrise, we start with warm light, we go through cooler light in the middle of the day, and we get to the evening when it's warm light again. That's why lighting hospitality environments is important to do it with warm light, because our body naturally is accustomed or used to warm light in the evening. Hospitality venues definitely using 2700 Kelvin or lower numbers, right? So that's down here. If you can see my mouse, that's down here in the warm range. Work environments are more in this middle range, around 3 to 4,000 K. Occasionally, if you want to concentrate on a task, you really need to bang something out, the 6,000 K or the daylight white does help you concentrate, but it also makes you very tired. So be careful about using these cooler colors. People will often talk to you about, I want my office lit as a cool color. Okay, that's great in the middle of the day. It's not great at the start and the end of the day, when our bodies are starting to move into a different rhythm or a different cycle. Another aspect of color is actually using color hue, or that is colors. So for an example, I've just put one example up here of purple light. Purple light is very sophisticated, and use of colored light can help people associate the color with the activity. So a sophisticated purple hue or a purple wash of light is great in places like jazz bars or very high-end hospitality. Now, this is something that needs to be used very softly. You know, often when we talk about color, we think about red, green, blue color change, right? Unfortunately, there's a big sector of the market out there that thinks that's color light. Well, it isn't. Think theater, right? Think those soft washes of violet or purple light, soft washes of peacock blue, that green, blue, cyan light, or even just using color filters on downlights to create colors that are warmer than 2700K, that maybe are slightly pink or straw colored. These are the techniques that have come from the theater and are still valid in the way that we do lighting for hospitality, because it's about building that emotion, right? So is the other aspect of color that's not just color temperature. It's also the hue of the color.
Would you like to know more about light and lighting? Then please go to our website page, fill in your contact details, and we can send you our knowledge posts and training videos directly. You'll also gain access to our knowledge library, which contains loads of useful design guides and lighting insights. Thank you, and cheerio for now.